booktube, it's Eleanor here, and today I'm doing my Christmas book haul. This is the books that I received for Christmas. They are all from my husband, and he was very, very naughty and spoilt me lots. The first thing and my main present was that, I love this card anyway, but he renewed my Willoughby Book Club subscription for another year, which is a UK-based book subscription service that I have been receiving for a couple of years now, where they send you a book a month to your taste, and they do a special thing for me, and I think they offer it up to people who want it, because I obviously read so much. They send me a little spoiler email a couple of weeks before my book's due to arrive, just to check I haven't read anything by a particular author or a particular book. Which works better for me. I mean, obviously it's nicer to get a surprise, but it just wouldn't work for me because I own so many books and I've read so many books. So this works really well, and I've really enjoyed trying new books through this subscription, so I was really a lucky girl to get that from my husband again. In our family this year, with my mother-in-law, we did a Secret Santa just for the adults, because we've got so many sort of kids now in the family. We didn't buy presents for all the adults, just for the children, but we did do a Secret Santa where you were not meant to spend over £10 and you had to buy something you thought your person would like, and I was really lucky and I got a book, and it's the book Lovers London, and in fact I almost bought it for myself quite a few times, and Caitlin and Mercedes will possibly remember me talking about this when we went for our London trip, because I spotted it in quite a few bookshops and mentioned that it looked interesting. It's basically a book, it's split into different sections, but it is a list of all the bookshops, or is a lot of the bookshops in London, and it's split into sections. You've got new books, you've got areas, you've got second-hand books, alternative book outlets, libraries, book art, places of literary interest. There's some information on festivals and various different things, and I can't wait to find some new gems to visit next time I go up to London. Next up are quite a lot of books that he picked off my wish list for me, so I'm going to go through them relatively quickly. The first is a book called Some Girls Are by Courtney Summers. I believe this is a book about bullying. I think it's a book about a girl who is in the sort of inner clique at school, the sort of fearsome five, and for some reason she becomes an outcast and is shunned by that group, and it's just about high school life and what happens when you're bullied and when you're sort of fall from grace, I believe. The next book he got me is Conversations with the Fat Girl by Lisa Palmer. This book is about two girls who are friends at school. They're both bullied for being the fat girls, but they stick together, and we then skip to years later. One of them is still overweight and is working in a job she's not happy with and hasn't found the one, has been having quite a lot of crushes on various fit people. I think she's having a crush on her colleague, and the other is her friend, who is now a size 6 after surgery, and she is meant to be her friend's bridesmaid, and I think this will be an interesting and emotional read. You all know how much I love Lucky Harbour series by Jill Shalvis. I am still just eking it out. I've got a few more books to read in the series, but I wanted to find a series to start that's similar, and I've heard this one's very good. This is called Christmas Eve at Friday Harbour. It's the first in the Friday Harbour series by Lisa Claypass. I don't know much about this, but I think it's set in a small town called Friday Harbour, and I'm really excited because if I can find a new Lucky Harbour type series, I will be so happy. Next is Skinwalker by Faith Hunter, the first in the Jane Yellowrock novels. I think this is a paranormal, possibly a paranormal romance. It's about vampires, and Jane Yellowrock is the last of her kind, a skinwalker of Cherokee descent who can turn into any creature she desires and hunts the undead for a living. It just sounds like a really good, fun, fast romp. The next book is The Summer Prince by Leila Dawn Johnson. I really, really love the cover of this. I don't know an awful lot about it. I think it's set in futuristic Brazil. It's about an artist, and she meets a male artist called the Summer Prince, and I believe they sort of start an artistic sort of revolution, or they start doing explosive art events, and it just sounds different to what I'd normally read, and I'm really excited to get to this one. The next book is Jane Austen Goes to Hollywood by Abby McDonald. This is a book, from what I can gather, I'm not sure if it's YA or new adult or adult. I think it might be YA. It's about two sisters. One is very dramatic and one is more level-headed. Something happens in their life and it's all about rebuilding their life, but in Hollywood, and yeah, it just sounds like fun. The next is Forbidden by Tabitha Suzuma. This is a YA book that I've heard a lot about, and a lot of people say how good it is if you can, if you're happy to read it. It's about siblings, I believe, that fall in love, and obviously the romance is forbidden, and I'm interested to try this. I'm not particularly squeamish and not particularly offended by things, so I will be interested to see what I think of this one. The next book is called Point by Brandy Colbert. This is a story about ballet and also about kidnapping, I believe. It's, from what I can gather on the back, it's about a young girl who possibly has suffered with some sort of eating disorder, and she's on her way to becoming an elite ballet dancer. She's in recovery, and it's about her friend who returns home after spending 4 long years with his kidnapper, and perhaps she had something to do with him getting kidnapped. And yeah, it just sounds like a really interesting thrillery type story, and I just love this cover. I think it's beautiful with the sort of tutu tulle on the front. And the next one is And We Stay by Jenny Hubbard. I don't know much about this. I'll read you the back. It says, Senior Paul Wagner walks into his school with a stolen gun, threatens his girlfriend Emily Beam, and then takes his own life. Soon after, angry and guilt-ridden, Emily is sent to boarding school in Amherst, Massachusetts, where 2 quirky fellow students and the spirit of Emily Dickinson offer helping hands. But it is up to Emily Beam to heal her own damaged self, to find the good behind the bad, hope inside the despair, and springtime under the snow. So this sounds like a very interesting read. The next book is called Teeth by Hannah Moskowitz. This sounds really, really weird. It's about a boy who moves to a remote island in a last-ditched attempt to save his sick young brother. But he's got nothing to do. He sinks into loneliness and he awakes listening to the screams of the ocean. He meets Diana, who makes him wonder what he knows about love, and Teeth, who must be a person, I think, who makes him question what he knows about everything. Rudy can't remember the last time he felt so connected to someone, but being friends with Teeth is more than a little complicated. He soon learns that Teeth has a terrible secret, violent secrets that will force Rudy to choose between his own happiness and his brother's life. So this sounds, yeah, really interesting. The next book is Burnt Paper Sky by Gilly Macmillan. This is a story about a woman who turns her back for 1 minute and her 8-year-old son is gone, disappeared. It's about how the media and people turn against her. It's about what really happened to this boy, and it sounds like a really interesting thriller. The next is called A Wicked Thing by Rhiannon Thomas. This just sounds so interesting. It's about the Sleeping Beauty fairy tale. It's as if Aurora has woken up and she's got this prince who she doesn't really know, and all her family are long dead, and she's just trying to make sense of the world and what's going on. And it just sounds like a really interesting continuation of this story, and what might happen you know, when if Sleeping Beauty really did wake up to an anonymous strange prince who's kissed her, woken up, but she doesn't really know. So yeah, I can't wait to read this one. So that was the books that I received from my husband for Christmas and my Willoughby Book Club subscription, which I was so excited about getting renewed. What did you guys get for Christmas? Have you read any of these books? What did you think of them? And I look forward to speaking to you soon in my next video. Bye for now, BookTube.